Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings with me, Michael Jex, the tea drinking author. This is Imperial Earl Grey from Drury Tea and Coffee Company, and very nice it is too. What are we doing today? I am looking at 4 inks. Why these 4? Well, they're all blue, which means they should be good for the office, but they all have that interesting little sheening quality. So I thought it would be useful, or interesting for me actually, just to compare how they work. Seems good for me. Let's get writing. So here we are with 4 interesting inks. 4 interesting inks. I'm going to be testing them on some Moleskin Pro paper, which is rather nice. Nemesis on a sheet of really very pleasant 115 GSM paper and some standard Oxford, and seeing how they all turn out. Now, one thing I've got to just say is I was really impressed with this Moleskin paper when I tested it not long ago. It's much better than the standard Moleskin paper. And you do get these nice descriptions and things, and one thing they do is they give you little cards that you can use, I assume for business, so hi, nice to meet you, etc. And then it started to look a little bit more French when I saw this one. Hi, nice to meet you. We just met at, call me sometimes. Interesting, the French. Right. So how are we doing this? I have 2 buckets of water, as you can see. I will fill the pen with ink. Sargasso Sea, let us say. When I've finished, I will flush it with the larger bucket of water, and then I will fill the pen with clean water, empty it into there, fill it with clean, empty it into there, and that way the pen stays lovely and fresh, so I don't get cross-contamination of the inks. This is how I do it every time. It works. So, having said all that, let's get started. Sargasso Sea first, I think, and we'll see how this goes. I'm not going to show you all the cleaning of the pen and everything because, frankly, it just gets boring for everyone concerned. So let's just fill a pen with some Sargasso Sea. Good old-fashioned Twisby go. So you just press down the plunger, put it into the ink, let the plunger go, and it sucks up ink. Really quick, easy and straightforward. I love the Twisby Go. It is such a practical little pen. If you want something that's going to be good at work but not too expensive, and you just want a pen to experiment with, the Twisby Go is just about the best place you can start, I would say. Now, if I'm going to write something, I need something to write from. So let's have a look at A Murder Too Soon by a brilliant author called Michael Jex. That works for me. So, Sargasso Sea by Diamine. These are all Diamine inks. Soon. Okay, writing is completed. First of all, let's just have a quick look at this. This here is standard Moleskin paper, but it's the newer professional type, and it makes a massive difference. There is some shadowing on all of these inks, but it really isn't major. And let's just bear in mind, this is a 1.1mm stub. It is throwing a lot of ink down the nib. So for that, I think very impressive. Now look at these. Colour, a nice deep blue, rather like an old-fashioned quink. A slightly duller blue, more like a sort of blue-black type of tinge, I'd say. The bilberry has a gorgeous reddish tinge, and midnight, not twilight, midnight, has a very nice, again, sort of deeper blue-black. So maybe that's Prussian blue more, this is blue-black more. But what I would say is that on this paper, I'm just trying to see it myself, the bilberry has a certain amount of sheen, but I would say it is the only ink that shows any sheening whatsoever. So if you're using a moleskin type pad and you want some sheen, bilberry's about your only choice there. However, with Oxford paper, which is what we have here, there is sheen on every single one. Now, whether I can get this to show up on the camera is a different matter, because it is really difficult to see sheen on a little camera's screen like this, so I can't tell if I'm actually showing it off at all well. However, what I would say is the bilberry shows up sheening really on just about every level. Beautiful, really, really effective. Majestic blue, I would just say this is a sort of a golden sheen, rather like Writer's Blood has. It's a very appealing colour and a very nice sheen. Rather than that, the Majestic blue has a distinctly red sheen, which again, very, very nice. Looks lovely. The Sargasso Sea has a similar sheen to the Majestic blue, except it sort of takes, what would I call it? I suppose it's more of an outlined sheen. Majestic seems to be sheen right in the middle of every thick patch of ink, whereas Sargasso seems to have more of an outlining sheen, which is curious. Again, rather like Writer's Blood. Midnight still has sheen on this Oxford paper, and it's rather like Majestic blue. It's sheening that goes right through the lettering, but it's a bit more subtle and, to my eye, rather lovely. Then we come to this wonderful heavyweight 115mm paper, and I think you must be able to see the bilberry sheen there. That's just so bright and gorgeous. Put my glasses back on. Sargasso Sea again, very good sheen. Majestic blue, yes, very good sheen. Bilberry, stunning. Midnight, just that bit more subtle and appealing to me, because I'm a subtle sort of person. You probably guessed that from watching my videos. And then we get to the Nemosine paper. I have some Oxford blue for no particular reason at the top. Sargasso Sea has some sheen, Majestic has some, Bilberry a great deal more, and Diamine the least of the lot. So there we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of paper. And I would say that Nemosine, very heavyweight. This is actually the same paper that is used by William Hanna notebooks, in case you're interested, so that's for you, Barnesy and others. The Oxford paper, Chris, and these two all work extremely well. The one that doesn't work as well for sheen is this, which is the moleskin. The bilberry shows some good sheening, but the others really are much less so. But I think that's because this paper is slightly more absorbent. It's soaking up the ink before it can develop the sheening thickness which you need on the outside. And now, which ink and paper combination is best? Well, actually I quite like sheen, but I don't like it too much. I like a rather more subtle sheen, as I said. And for me, because I also rather like darker inks, I think Midnight gets my vote. I think Diamine Midnight is a subtle ink. It does have the interest of that sheen coming through. I should just say we showed the moleskin paper. This is the Nemosyne. No bleed through, nothing. Absolutely fine. This is the 115 GSM. That's not bleed through, that's just where I put it on top of some wet ink. Silly me. And the Oxford paper, of course I've done this on the other side of some other writing, but you can see there that there's absolutely no shadowing, nothing. Perfectly easy to read. So for me, I would say Diamine Midnight right now. And of course, this is only what I feel right now, because like all people who use pens, my tastes change daily just about. But right now, today, my favourite would have to be Midnight. And I think I would have to say I like the Oxford paper, but it's either the William Hanna or the Nemosyne. And the reason why is the nib on this TWSBI Go just seemed to float over the surface of the paper. It was so smooth and really joyous to use. If I wanted more of a sheen, I think the William Hanna would win out slightly. Only very slightly, but there is a little bit more sheen than there is on the Nemosyne. On the Nemosyne, the sheen is actually really quite difficult to find. Unlike the Bilberry, which is just, it's like having a regimental sergeant major bawling in your face because you were slightly too slow to post your weapon or whatever it might be. That is a really glorious colour, but it is bellowing in terms of its sheen, as it is on this. Again, trying to show sheen. You trying to say that in a hurry after a few whiskies is not so easy. It's easier, I think, to see here. You can see a sort of metallic reflection on the Bilberry. And there we are. So, my favourite, probably William Hanna with Diamine's Midnight, is today's favourite. Goodness only knows what it'll be next week. I quite fancy next week doing a comparison between two of my favourite browns, which are KWZ's Honey and Diamine Sepia, and possibly another Diamine brown, the dark brown, because it's a boring name and so I think it's quite underrated. But I do like golden brown colours, so that could be next week. One thing that's awful about doing these videos is that, especially when you're doing writing, it takes quite a time, and so your tea gets cold. I think I need to put that in the microwave. Right, now for those who are interested, this is vastly improved. Still slightly painful. I've had it x-rayed. It's not broken. It's just a very severe sprain, apparently. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, tough, you're going to have to go back and look at some of the other videos. And the other thing I was going to say was the computer. I have a new Apple computer on order. The old computer is now crashing between 4 and 6 times a day, which is not ideal for a machine that is absolutely essential for work. The good thing was I ordered the new Apple on the day that you could put orders in. The bad thing was when I first saw the thing that said you can order it now, it was at 1 o'clock on the Friday, and I saw it as possible to order, and the delivery timescale was 3.5 weeks. So I thought, great. So I went and spoke to my wife. We had a look at the accounts. We decided that with a bit of scrimping and saving, we could probably afford it. So I went back to the computer to order it, and by that stage, the delivery time had grown to 8 weeks, which is not ideal when you do need a new computer. Still, it means I've got some time to use my free write, and it means I've got time to do a lot more tidying up of this computer so that I'm not going to be dragging across a whole bunch of completely irrelevant nonsense when I get the new one. And apart from that, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this and you want to support the channel, please go to the bottom. There's a PayPal link. If you want to join a Pen Pals writing club, there's a link down the bottom. Write to me there and I'll send you details of how to join. And don't forget to like it and hit the subscribe and then hit the bell button and tell your friends and share it and stuff. And apart from that, thanks a lot for watching. So long as I continue to be able to edit on my computer, this should be going up before too long. Let's hope. Thanks a lot for watching. See you soon.